In Genesis 11, God looks down at what humanity is building and personally shuts it down. Not because the building was too tall, because the system was too dangerous. And the reason he gave, the specific words he used to explain why he intervened, read like a warning written directly to the generation holding a smartphone. They are one people. They have one language. This is only the beginning. Nothing they propose to do will be impossible for them. Genesis 11:6, one people, one language, unlimited capability, no moral ceiling. That was Babel. That is also Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, running simultaneously on 2.5 billion devices. The Tower of Babel isn't a children's story about a building that got too tall and a god who got too jealous. It is the most accurate description of the internet ever written, and it was written 3,000 years before the internet existed. Genesis 11 doesn't open with a tower. It opens with a gathering. Now the whole earth had one language and the same words. Genesis 11:1. And in 2004, in a Harvard dorm room, a 20-year-old named Mark Zuckerberg opened a laptop and began building the same thing. Not a tower, a gathering, one language, one platform, the whole earth, unified, connected, speaking to each other in real time across every border and every ocean and every time zone simultaneously. Most people read Genesis 11 and picture an ancient story about a building that got too tall. But what God describes in the opening verse of that chapter is not primarily a construction project. It is a system designed to gather everyone, to unify every voice, to create a single coordinated human project with no one left outside it. And before the tower is mentioned, before the ambition is announced or the bricks are laid, God flags that system as the setup for everything dangerous that follows. Now, here is what most readings of this story miss entirely. The gathering itself was not the sin. Psalm 133:1 says, "How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity." Acts 2 shows the Holy Spirit descending on a gathered people and producing something glorious. Revelation 7:9 gives us the end of the story. Every nation, every tribe, every language standing together before the throne of God. Unity is not the problem at Babel. Godless unity is. And that distinction, that single, precise, biblically critical word, is exactly what makes Genesis 11 the most accurate description of what social media became. Because the people of Shinar didn't gather in rebellion. They gathered the way people always gather, around a shared language, a shared project, a shared horizon. And then Genesis 11:4 tells us what happened inside that gathering. Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves. Not let us build something for God. Not let us gather in His name and toward His purposes. Let us make a name for ourselves. That is when the gathering became godless. And that is the precise moment that describes what happened to social media. When Mark Zuckerberg stood in front of Congress in 2018, he didn't describe Facebook as a social network. He called it the social infrastructure for the global community. Not your community, not a community, the global community. Twitter's founding mission, to give everyone the power to share ideas instantly without barriers. Everyone, instantly, no barriers. YouTube, 1 billion users, then 2 billion. Now, over 2.5 billion people every single month. 2.5 billion people, one language, one system. Let us make a name for ourselves. Jeremiah 17:9 tells us why that always ends the same way.